His life and his work, not only with the Army, but with so much of his work throughout the community over these last really 40 years that Mike has served and worked in this community. It is quite fitting that we would be on this property tonight, and actually Mike would have it no other way. He wanted it to be right here in this place. This was not the place that Mike knew as a child, this actual building, but it certainly is this property that means so much to him. And the Red Shield and what that means to him, has meant to him over the years. And as I think about that, I thought today, Mike, I don't think there's been a week, and I've been here 100 days. I'm in my 100th day so far, yeah. And I don't think there's been a day in the days that we've worked together, these 100 days, that we haven't at least in a week's time made reference to that phrase, Red Shield. Because it means so much to Mike, and it means so much to us, and so it's appropriate that we have the Red Shield here tonight to stand behind that as well. Because what that means is, it means so much to Mike from his childhood, from the very beginning. And what was instilled in him from Milt and Audrey Servais was that love and care for others. And that's been the theme of his life over and over and over again, is to simply serve others. And you will see a poster hanging on the wall directly behind this group over here. That's a famous quote from Mike's father that says, "Be the reason somebody's having a great day." And I think that Mike has made that his ambition every day, to be the reason that somebody's having a great day. So Mike, thank you for that, and thank you for being such an inspiration to all of us. So we're here, yes, we're here to honor a man who not only has meant so much to the Army, but also to this Nashville community. Now, I wanted to share a couple of letters with you that I received this week in honor of Mike, and these folks desired to be here, but were not able to. They're from out of town, but I just wanted to share with you a couple of letters. One is from Major Janine Vincent, who was former Associate Area Commander here with her husband Rob a few years ago, and Major Janine Vincent is the Women's Ministry Secretary for the Georgia Division, so she's down in Atlanta. But Major Vincent says this: "Dear Mike, congratulations and blessing on your upcoming retirement. I know you have many exciting things planned and so much to look forward to. Traveling with Joe, spending time with the grandkids, and hours spent on the golf course. But don't get carried away and try to do too much at once. Pace yourself and try to take it easy until you get used to all the free time." Now, you've still got some work to do, but I'm sure you're going to have some free time. She says, "I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say, we'll really miss having lunch together in the break room and hearing all your toweling off at the Y stories. I'll never forget them. Trust me, I've tried to put the visions away, but they just won't go out of my mind. Seriously though, we can't thank you enough for your years of dedicated service to the Army of Nashville. You have truly made a difference in so many lives, and I know that Milt and Audrey are watching over you from heaven and are so proud of what an incredible impact you've made on the world around you and of the legacy you've left for the Red Shield kids. Blessings on you, and we'll catch you at Charlie Bob's sometime down the road. Love you, Mike." Janine. And then from a dear friend from a number of years from Miami, Florida, Dan and Ruth Anna Vincent and their family. And Dan writes this: "Dear Mike, thank God for the amazing blessing of divine intersections in life. Whether those of you gathered tonight associate him with the legend of the Red Shield Youth, the legacy of Milt and Audrey, the lasting visionary work of Best Buddies of Nashville, or the cornerstone of the leadership staff of the Salvation Army in Nashville, this inimitable characteristic style of Mike Servais makes him totally unforgettable. Case in point, just read his profile in Lincoln. Seriously, you are in the presence of a proud Marine veteran who journalized Vietnam from an extremely unique perspective, a law degree holder from Nashville Night School, a passionate children's advocate and professional grade photographer. Then, when Ruth Anna and I needed a development marketing resource professional, little did Mike know that he was a primary subject of our daily prayers. So after 3 successful years serving with us at the Salvation Army Center of Hope in Knoxville, Mike left for home, and we moved to Miami Area Command. Later, we would meet again in a Salvation Army Leadership Conference in Atlanta, a Salvation Army National Advisory Board Conference at Disney World, and the Gathering of Angels in downtown Nashville, where Mike and Ruth had Ruth Ann and I seated with Daryl and Stevie Walter. Who knows where the next divine intersection will be? We can't wait. We really wanted to be with you this evening, Mike, to celebrate this moment, to honor your professional work and personal friendship through all these years. By the way, it was not the quality level of your development and marketing skills that meant the most. The other divine intersection? The after-school conversations with our eldest daughter, at a very young age, who admired a leather stuffed animal, a frog, sitting in your office. You offered it freely. Now, the mother of two, the wife of a fireman paramedic, still cherishes the gift from Mike Servais as the frog sits proudly in the office of now marine biologist Leslie Vincent Ryder, Master Naturalist Instructor of the Manatee Center of St. Lucie County, Florida. Thanks for everything you mean to us. Our love and congratulations to you and your family. Blessings, Dan and Ruth Ann. Welcome to someone from our divisional office in Louisville. We're pleased to have Major Barry Corbett with us tonight, Divisional Secretary from Louisville. Major Corbett, thank you for being here. Major Corbett, his parents are here, Peggy and Ray Corbett. Major Corbett is a native son of Nashville, and he's excited about getting to Hendersonville High football game tonight. That's his alma mater, so he's going to get there. But we're also pleased tonight to have Lieutenant Colonels Charles and Shirley White. The Whites, as you know, are retired in Nashville, love Nashville, love this community. They served here in the 80s as the area commanders, and then upon entering retirement were asked to take Nashville again for a couple of years, and they did so with distinction, and we're thrilled to have the Whites here. And Colonel, I've asked Colonel to come and just share a little bit in honor of Mike as well.
Privilege to participate tonight, and I'll keep it as brief as I can. Shirley said that's impossible, but understanding there's a lot to go on. When folks talk about intersections and things and journeys, my journey with Mike started, I guess, when we were almost teenagers or shortly teenagers, but Salvation Army for many years, from its beginning, has worked with youth, and in this division years ago, we used to go to Montgomery Bell State Park for our summer camp, and there was a youth and music camp. I went for the music track, and there was a young man there that I got to see and really began to admire, because this guy was a natural born leader. He had a gang or a posse, even before we knew what a posse was, following him around the camp and all the activities. They were winning the softball games, they were the best swimmers, they were all in all the activities, and raiding cabins at night, scaring us poor Kentucky kids to death with our tales. And actually, Mike and our encounter happened at the lake at Montgomery Bell State Park, where they had the Grease Watermelon wrestling contest. And the Kentucky boys were on one side, the Tennessee boys on the other side, led by Mike. And they would toss this greased watermelon in the middle of the area and blow the whistle. We'd all race to it. And of course, the first team to get the greased watermelon back onto their dock on their side won some great big honor, prize, whatever, maybe food, who knew what it was. Can't remember. But I do recall that this gentleman here, some guy then, I didn't know who it was, but as I captured the greased watermelon and was trying to make my way back, suddenly I felt somebody's feet on my shoulders pushing me down into the muck until I would release the watermelon. Come to find out, I believe most certainly that it was Mike that held me down until I let go of the watermelon. Of course, then the Tennessee boys walked off with the prize. But that's the kind of guy he was, a natural born leader, and very confident, very athletic. As we attended youth events throughout the Kentucky-Tennessee division, most of them were held here in Nashville, the old Hume Fogg High School, and the youth councils and activities here at the community center. I would see Mike, and I recall thinking in my heart then, since he's older than I am, that I sure would like to be like that guy someday. That's the kind of person that I want to be. And our paths continued as he went off to his school and off to the Marines and off to this and off to that. I was raised in a family and went off to the Salvation Army Academy and went through the training and followed that track, but our paths intersected off and on again, as you've heard. When Mike went to work in Knoxville, I was in Louisville, of divisional headquarters. And then later when he came here, I'm not sure how much influence I had, but I recall Mike calling and asking, did I think that was a good idea? And thank God, I listened to God and said to Mike, I think it's the best idea that God has ever given to man. And he came to run the Red Shield Family Initiative, and then later on become the executive director of marketing and development. So we did a good thing listening to God on that one, didn't we, Mike? But as I got to know him and our paths crossed, as I said, I began to appreciate him more and more. The greatest joy, however, has been these last 2 years as we worked in partnership to move the mission forward in Nashville. Mike's intuitive spirit, his compassionate heart, his inquisitive mind, his dogged determination carried us through some challenging times and times of great blessing. I often share that Mike, underneath that shirt there, has a true salvationist heart. You don't see him in this dark blue uniform, but he is ever much bleeding yellow, red, and blue, like any salvationist. Organizations have a lot of slogans, and doing the most good is pretty good, but the one I believe most salvationists embrace is heart to God, hand to man. That's more than a catchy slogan to Mike. He lives it every day. Watching him move from the lofty executive's office of the Chamber of Commerce, I see Ralph back there somewhere, hey Ralph, or to the family on the street, from the civic event to the Tuesday morning breakfast feeding or feeding under the bridge, Mike is comfortable in any situation, and he demonstrates daily his concern for those in need. We see it through his bulletins of prayer warriors. We see it, and we see this slogan, heart to God, hand to man, take on flesh, as Mike prays with the men and women and the families coming through our facilities and being cared for at the Salvation Army and at this facility as well. Mike is an encourager. Many times he would come into my office, I suppose recognizing that there were some pretty challenges during the day, and quite often sneak up behind me, but I could feel his presence and sense that he was there, and not really conduct any business, but just simply share some love. Mike loves his family, whether it's to be Joe or his children or grandchildren or his Army family or the community. There's more to share, but time will not allow, my wife says. I am thankful to God that God allowed Mike Servais to come alongside me in my journey of faith and service. I salute Mike today. I salute you, Mike, and wish you blessing and joy as you enter into this new chapter in this new part of your journey. Salvation Army and the Nashville community are much better because of Mike Servais. Come here, Mike. Several years ago, a good friend of ours, both of ours, two good friends actually, Bill Turner and Bill Denny, I don't know what the dirt would be, he didn't anoint me or commissioned me as field marshal. As far as I know, I'm the only field marshal in the Salvation Army world. Okay? You know, field marshals, as I understand, they lead vast battalions and groups of men or whatever to take sections or countries or whatever, and so they go in and they're fighting and they're swinging and they're going and doing their thing, and that's what field marshals do, right? All right. Now, and that was the salute, which I don't want to do. Now, once the territory's been claimed, somebody needs to come along and kind of keep the peace, and to bring peace and bring harmony and bring love. And so, as the only Salvation Army Field Marshal, Mike, I now commission you as the ambassador of goodwill and prayer for the Salvation Army in Nashville, Tennessee. God bless you, buddy. And he probably already has a dozen of these. but a symbol of goodwill and good works and good deeds. Now, I got to get it out of my house. I got too much room. Is Salvation Army Canteen, and what it says is on Salvation Army service. And since I know Mike Servais, he is always on Salvation Army service.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you so much. Bill Marshall, thank you. What's next? Okay.
I did want to recognize Mike's family tonight, and of course thrilled that they're here and honoring their dad. And I want to just recognize son Jay Servais and his fiancee Melissa Bryant. You guys stand if we recognize you. And Jay's son Jacob and his daughter Haley are here. Let's welcome them. And then daughter Buffy Jo Bradley is here, her husband Tony Bradley, and then two granddaughters, Savannah Grace and Katie. And then born on 9/16, Noah Bradley is back there. And then we cannot certainly forget, when you think about, what I've come to realize is when you think about Mike, you have to think about Joe. And so we want to just welcome Joe tonight, Joe Servais, wife of 47, almost 48 years. Joe, would you stand? And actually, Joe, come up here. Mike's got something. Come up here.
There are 48 of them.
God bless you.